desert blind, whispers of a twisted mind, found paradise in hell, stories only he could tell. Children of a broken dream followed his unholy scheme. Promised lands through bloody hands, swept beneath the devil's plan. Manson shadows on the wall, creeping closer to the fall. Twisted preacher in the night, spreading chaos with delight. Desert nights and eerie chants, serpent's eyes in a devil's glance, heavens shattered by his word, preaching madness so absurd. Hope crushed in wicked fire, lost souls swayed by desire. In the dark they found their king, caught in webs his lies would bring. Children's laughter turns to cries, echoes of the night's disguise, promises of pain and chains, left them wandering insane.
Right, hello. Sorry for still smoking, but you know. Oh God. Right, so we've got 15 people here, are we? Did you notice I put a line from the song in the thumbnail of this one as well? I'm going to start dropping lines from the song into the presentations and the thumbnails for my regular subscribers who know the song. Because that is so weird as well that it wrote that song. When all I said was write a folk rock song about Charles Manson, and it gave 3 options, and that was the best one. But it does sound like it's talking about, you know, Romeo pimping them, doesn't it? Yeah, it's crazy. Oh my God, yeah. The things it says, I can't believe it, because I didn't prompt it to say to do anything like that. I just said folk rock song about Charles Manson, and that was it. But it's more about the girls, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, chaos with delight. I think about that as well. Merch, if I ever sold merch, what I could sell, I could put lyrics from that song on mugs or whatever, couldn't I? With pictures. Would anyone buy that if I did that? Wrote chaos with delight and a picture of Charles Manson pulling a stupid face or whatever. Yeah. Well, you did notice it. It's in the thumbnail. You know, the thumbnail of the picture. Yeah, I've written in the dark they found their king on the thumbnail. Yeah. Yeah, like I say, I couldn't believe how much, because synthetic voices used to not be able to show emotion. That was how you could tell it was a synthetic voice. But that creeped me out a bit when I heard how the voice was actually showing emotion, appearing to show emotion. That made me think, oh well, the writing's on the wall for singers now. If the synthetic voices sound that good, fucking what's the point? Yeah, there's no point. They'll just be able to make synthetic artists soon. Yeah, yeah, that's it. The song is AI MK Ultra. Yeah, did the CIA program that machine? Whoa! Oh, my cat's gonna knock me Horlicks off. Here he comes. Whoa! Yeah, Chaos with Delight, spelled on a black T-shirt with a white picture of Manson face. Yeah, that's that sort of thing. Yeah, and or the wolf logo as well, because it's a True Crime and Moonshine merch piece. I would have to have the wolf somewhere, like in the corner of it or something, and it would have to say True Crime and Moonshine somewhere. But it could be the line from the song. And I've been looking for options where you could choose the text. Like I could give you like all the lines, and you can choose which line you want and what picture you want and stuff like that. But it's difficult, and I want to make sure that what you get is near high quality and is as ethical as possible. You know, but I mean, not just mass produced in a sweatshop in China and the fabric's crap when you get it or whatever. Yeah, that's it. The Horlicks. I should have bought the jar in so I could show you how it's spelled. Yeah, there's no W on the beginning. Yeah, and there's no E in it. Yeah, yeah. It's pronounced exactly the same though. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to describe exactly what it is as well. It's like a malted drink. Weird color. A lot of people don't like it. I like it. It's the thing that you tend to start liking as you get older, sort of thing. Old ladies drink. Careful, you don't mute the bloody headset, cat. Yeah. Oh, where's Jeremy as well? If he wants to come on, I'll just drop the link into the chat for him because he can't be. I can't be bothered to load Reddit to get to the chat room to give him the link. Oh yeah. Oh, you're at work, are you? All right, so you can't come on. It doesn't matter. Yeah, this is quite a manageable after show, I think, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So the English people like it. Yeah. But it's not something that like the hip young people are drinking, is it? It's like a more of an old lady drink. It's a good thing to drink at night though. It's soothing and it's got loads of vitamins in it. It's good for you. It's high in vitamins and stuff. So, yeah, yeah. You get chocolate flavored Horlicks as well. Yeah. Yeah, no, I've not seen the Horlicks tablets. I don't know. When did they make them? Did they make them through? Because I was born obviously 80s, weren't I? I think I've heard of that though. Yeah. Because that would just dissolve in hot water, wouldn't it? Yeah, so it would work. They could do it that way. Probably less packaging. Yeah, no, it's not quite the same as Ovaltine. Yeah, it's different to Ovaltine. Yeah, Ovaltine's more chocolatey. Traditional Horlicks isn't chocolatey, but I prefer the taste of Horlicks to Ovaltine, to be honest. Ovaltine is like trying to make you think it's cocoa, but it's not, sort of thing. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's it. Yeah, it's British, so they've taken all the joy out of it. Basically, yeah, yeah. There's no chocolate in it. No, you get a chocolate version of it now. Yeah, we like it. We like everything to be bland as hell, and we get overstimulated. Oh, bloody hell, you chewed? Oh, no, I think I do remember them coming out, actually. I think I do remember seeing them, yeah. They were just because you know you can get Lucozade tablets, but those are actually meant to be dissolved in a glass of water. Do you know that? People eat them like they're sweets, but those Lucozade tablets, you're actually meant to dissolve it in a glass of water to make a drink. But people just eat them, don't they? Yeah. So I wonder if the Horlicks tablets were meant to be dissolved. But it would say on it, wouldn't it, surely? Hmm. I should have bought the jar in so I can look at what's in it. But yeah, it's sort of malty tasting and milky. Yeah. Yeah, Vegemite. No, we have Marmite. It's Marmite in England. Vegemite is what Australians have. But Australians are always quick to say it's not the same as Marmite. There's actually more in Vegemite than there is in Marmite. But Marmite is literally it's a byproduct of the brewing industry. It's yeast extract, and it's got a really savoury taste. And some people spread it on toast and eat it. They love it, and other people hate it. But it's actually better to use as a stock, like if you're making soup or stew, to put into a stew or something. It gives it more. My cat's foot. It gives you more flavour in stews and that. But yeah, I don't like it personally. But that's actually the logo, the slogan for it. You love it or hate it, sort of thing. Marmite. Hmm. British chocolate is stronger. I don't know what that means by that. Would they mean there's more cocoa in it or whatever? Because yeah, not so much now. No, because Cadbury's, which was the really British chocolate manufacturer, got bought by Kraft. Kraft owns Cadbury's now. So we're getting shit like Oreo dairy milk chocolate because they own Oreo as well. So it's like, oh god. So we're getting all these weird fucking dairy milk things. They haven't changed the taste of the dairy milk, but yeah, yeah. Mm. Yeah, I heard about haggis. There's a meat product we sell. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to go to the supermarket and take a photograph of the box so I can show you because it's a very offensive word to Americans. But we have a meat product here and I think that is also. I don't know if they're Irish or Scottish. I've got a feeling they're Scottish as well. But yeah, there's a meat product we have that sounds really bad to Americans. Mm. Well, what they used to call British chocolate would be Cadbury's. Cadbury's chocolate. That used to be a British-owned company, but it got sold. It got sold to Kraft. And the factories, there are still factories in the UK, but I bet there's factories everywhere else now as well. Yeah, yeah, I wonder about that. Like, it probably bloody injects it. They've got machines that inject it into the bars or whatever, haven't they? But yeah, weird. And how did they get the bubbles into whispers and arrows? Do you have? They probably call it a different thing in America, but you know the candy where there's chocolate bars where it's all bubbles inside. Call it arrow or whisper. How do they do that? I wish they'd make a TV show where they tell you that. Yeah, do they change the names? Because we had chocolate bars and sweets that changed names to bring it in line with the rest of Europe because it was too expensive to change the packaging to print the British packaging. Like the chocolate bar that we now call Snickers in the 80s when I was a kid was called Marathon. But everywhere else in Europe, they call it Snickers, and it was too expensive to uh, print the marathon packet, so they changed the name to Snickers. So now we have Snickers bars instead of marathon. And what was it? Starburst as well. The sweets used to be called Opal fruits, but everywhere else in Europe they call it Starburst, so they changed the name to Starburst in the British product as well now. Yeah, yeah. I haven't got any chocolate at home at the moment. Yeah, let me just think about it. I think I was eating it earlier though. All right. Yeah, I can hear you.
Good deal. Yeah, apparently my camera's still not fixed.
Oh, great.
Good
Yeah.
times. I'm gonna figure out what's going on with that. No, it doesn't matter. I'm at work right now anyway, so
Yeah.
yep.
Now we'll talk about chocolate bars now.
Yeah, no, like I was telling Milky, we have Mars bars and Milky Ways in America. It's just that Mars bars have almonds in them, and Milky Ways are no nuts.
Yeah. There's nuts in Mars bars in America.
Yeah, almonds.
Almonds. That's weird. Yeah, because we don't have nuts in the Mars bars. There's peanuts in what we call Snickers now. But
Yeah,
when I was a kid, they were called Marathon. But as I just fucking explained, because it's called Snickers everywhere else, they changed the name in this country.
yeah. They've always been called Snickers here.
Mm.
Yeah, but yeah, they've got
Yeah.
those have peanuts in it, and yeah,
Yeah.
Mars bars have almonds, and paydays are like all peanut and nougat with caramel in it.
Yeah.
They're like completely filled with peanuts.
Yeah, you get bigger servings of all the confectionery stuff in America as well. That's the controversial thing. Or like,
Oh, we're fat
yeah,
as fuck over here, man.
yeah. Well, I see
We're
people like I watch a lot of lifestyle YouTubers, and they show you walk around American supermarkets, and I see like the size of the boxes of cookies and donuts you can buy in the bakery department, and that it's like, oh my god, what family needs that fucking many cookies? You know what I mean? How are you going to eat all them? Because they're
and
fresh cookies, they go off in a couple of days, they go stale. It's like,
and
who's going to eat? How big is your family? Are you going to eat all
well,
them? You know what I
well,
mean? No one's
one,
so
they
all
load
them.
it up with preservatives so that they don't go bad. So, and
Yeah,
the way that they get people is they make it seem like you're getting a deal by buying in bulk. It's like,
yeah,
buy this giant tray of fucking cakes and cookies and take it
yeah,
home to
yeah,
your family with all the preservatives. It'll last for 2 weeks. And they
yeah,
eat on all that shit and they get addicted to it, you know? And so, like,
yeah.
becomes that cycle
Well, it's
of
bread and circuses, isn't it?
consumption. Yeah.
They keep you full of shitty food and entertained by all the drama going on and politics and
Call it.
soap operas and musicians and scandals. Like they chuck a musician under the bus, like they just have Diddy or whatever to distract us and entertain us.
But to be fair, we
Yeah,
have the choice to make that. It's called freedom, and you're free to make that choice. And if you want to
yeah,
choose that, it's absolutely there, and they make it cheap and easy.
yeah,
Yeah. James Watts is like, crispy crunch.
yeah, yeah.
I used to love eating those sugary cereals and shit like that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, oh, I've probably eaten more sugar in recent years than I ever used to. Yeah, but yeah, you just try and bloody avoid it. But you can eat a little bit. You can't if you totally deprive yourself of it, then it just causes you to binge. And I've got much better at controlling how much of it I eat. Controlling the portion of it and that, and still feeling happy about it.
See, that's the part of me that's still an addict. I think I'm not able to really control it, man. If you give me the a whole bag of candy bars, I'm gonna smash the whole fucking thing that day.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I used to be like that, but I can just I've learned to control it a bit, sort of thing. Yeah. You got to make sure you fill yourself up with other stuff as well. Don't just have that in the
That-
house. You know what I mean? And don't
That's
eat it
right.
until you've eaten another meal that's got protein in to make you feel full. Because
Right.
these the sweets and the cakes, they've got nothing that fills you up in them. You could eat
Well,
a ton
there's
of them and you still wouldn't feel full because there's nothing to fill you up.
well,
But it's
there's no
incredibly high
sustenance.
calorie. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's exactly it. It comes down to
Yeah. Yeah.
like your calorie versus nutrient
Yeah.
intake,
Yeah.
and there's
That's
like
it.
the
Yeah.
ratio is shit when it comes to that. Like you're eating nothing but calories and carbohydrates and glucose, and like not taking anything that's of
Yeah.
actual sustenance that powers your body.
And what it does to your
So,
blood sugar as well, your blood sugar spikes. This is why everyone's getting type 2 diabetes because you're spiking your blood sugar all fucking day. And
hmm drinking
yeah,
Mountain Dews and shit like
yeah,
that.
and the coffees you buy from fucking Starbucks are all sweetened. Even if you don't put sugar in it, there's probably already syrup in it or whatever. Yeah,
Here in the middle of America, we have gas stations. They're like convenience stores now, a superstore almost, and some of them that are called Casey's, and they make great pizza. They also
yeah,
make donuts in the morning, and in
yeah,
the on the box of donuts on the side, it's got like advertisements for the products they sell, and one of the sides it says Coca-Cola and Casey's donuts, they go together. Yeah, and I'm like,
yeah,
man, that sounds like sugar overload, man.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
how you gonna start your day off with that?
yeah, yeah. Well, like I
Right.
say, it's so difficult to avoid it in America by the sound of things, and because if you're addicted to the food as well, it's
It,
difficult to avoid it because it's advertised everywhere, isn't it? And
it's
in London, if you if
normalized.
you if you go into a place like London, there's billboards that are changing constantly now. They're computer screens that are changing the advert. As you go up the escalators, you see about 6 different adverts. Because the
Sure.
billboards are changing and it's all expensive food or fast food or whatever they're advertising to you.
Well, on top of that, like they just normalize it in peer
Yeah,
groups and things like that. School kids will go out. High school groups will go to McDonald's and eat. That
yeah,
kind of stuff. And then it's a part of the culture. It's kind of ingrained. And the idea is that you don't really live on that stuff. That you go out once in a while for a treat. But I think
yeah.
as a society,
That's the thing, isn't it?
we're all so busy and we're all so on the go, and it's predicated towards convenience and low
Yeah,
cost that so many people have fallen into just going to the window and grabbing something in a bag
Yeah.
and eating it.
It's all about moderation with it as well. You can eat some of it, you can treat yourself, but just not every day, not a ridiculous amount. Make sure you eat it after you've eaten something that sustains you a bit more, so you're not eating it on an empty stomach, because then you will eat the whole fucking box of cookies or the whole
Right.
bar of chocolate or whatever, won't you?
And like David Ward said,
Yeah.
a couple of cookies a day won't make you fat, but a box
No.
of cookies a day will. And that
Yeah.
also depends on how sedentary your life is.
Yeah.
My job, a whole lot of sitting around and doing documentation and shit like that. So
Yeah.
I have to go to hot yoga, or else I would be a disgusting fat body private pile.
Yeah, I started doing standing workouts. Basically we used to call it an aerobic workout when I was younger, but you stand and you just it's cardio basically. You're just getting your heartbeat up, but the moves do also tone your muscles and that.
And you need it.
And
You have to
yeah,
sweat, and you have to stretch, and you have to get your
that's it.
muscles
Yeah.
going and sweat. That's it.
Just by doing that, I managed to lose. And I walk a lot as well. I don't have a car, and I walk. I walk a lot, so I lose weight that way. And I use just cardio workouts. You can get them for free on YouTube now. There's no excuse.
Yeah,
It's not like it used to be where you have to buy a DVD and
right.
do the same workout for 3 months or whatever. I mean, you can choose a different one every
Exactly.
day, and there's no
Yep.
excuse to not do nothing. And now.
Yeah, you have the entirety of the world's recorded history at your fingertips.
Yeah,
So
that's it. And
pick a workout and
loads
do
of
it.
yeah.
Get your
And
YouTube
there's tons of channels where there's people giving you advice on how to lose weight as well, and you just got to find the reliable ones, the ones that are dietitians that are
up.
really giving you good advice. And
Well, the one that works for your
yeah,
body, your blood type, your body type, your
that's
age,
it.
that type of stuff. Yeah, Johnny Rogers says now we DoorDash McDonald's fries late night. Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
James Watson says I need HP sauce on me tree
Yeah.
branches.
Occasionally, it's a treat, isn't it? I buy Domino's pizzas sometimes, but I don't eat the whole thing in one night, even. So it lasts me 2 days.
I love HP sauce too. It's
Yeah,
like over here we've got A1 that's real similar, and it's
yeah.
good stuff.
It's
Good
because that
vinegar.
brown sauce. Yeah,
Yep,
you mean
yep.
yeah.
Brown
So
vinegar. Yep.
I mean ketchup as well. Yeah,
Yeah, ketchup's a
yeah,
little sweeter and tangier. I prefer maybe it just depends on what it is, what I'm eating, what it is on it. But
yeah.
yeah, HP sauce is always good. Junk food is cheaper than real healthy food, and fresh fruits and veggies not available in many cities. Yeah, it depends on where you're at as far as like those food deserts and things like that.
They've put a
Um,
sugar tax on us in the UK as well, so
yeah,
sweets cost more money because of that. But it's ridiculous because it ends up meaning a small little chocolate bar ends up costing you £1. But for
right.
like £1.50, you can get a big bar. So people actually are going to buy the bigger bar because it looks like a better deal. So you're actually not solving the problem; you're making it worse.
It's 100% how they're doing it in America too,
Yeah, yeah.
And thing is, Jenny, junk food's cheaper in the short term, but if like you're doing delayed discounting versus your instant gratification on the situation, a cost benefit analysis, the reality is if you just go ahead and pony up for the real healthy food, organic fresh fruits now, and later on you don't have all the health problems, you don't have all the issues and things like that. And also these foods fill you up better and give you more nutrition,
Mm.
so you can eat less of it and it's going to sustain you for longer periods and that. And so
Oh yes, there's a new spider they've discovered on the Isle of Wight. Well, it's not new. It's one that they thought was extinct. There's a rare spider we've got on the Isle of Wight. I haven't ever seen
what?
one. Yeah, but they found it. Yeah, it's a little spider with yellow legs, and it's not
Wow,
dangerous. It doesn't bite you. It's a little house spider, but they're really rare. They haven't seen one since 1986 apparently, but there's been one found on the Isle of Wight in a nature reserve somewhere. Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I
So
mean
it's
that it
good.
didn't
Yeah.
die off.
Yeah, and like I said, they're not bitey ones. We have false widow spiders on the Isle of Wight, though. They can bite you.
Yeah, we've got
And
black widows, yeah, and they're
yeah.
not good at
Well,
all.
false
Yep.
widows aren't as bad as a black widow, but if someone who's really vulnerable gets bitten, it could kill you. But it's actually just a nasty bite. It hurts, but it
Yeah,
wouldn't kill you normally. But if your immune system's weak or whatever, it could kill you. Yeah.
if you're older too, yeah.
Yeah. If you're
Yep.
old or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Oliver says he's eating lamb chops with Hewlett Packard sauce. I'm like, Mark, let me tell
Yeah.
you, probably should not be taking the ink cartridge out and dousing your mutton with that.
Yeah. That's it. Oh God, have you seen this printed meat or just machine built meat that they're making as well?
Oh yeah,
They're
you
selling
don't
it.
want
Yeah,
that.
yeah. It's like, oh my god, yeah. But are they going to have to tell you on the box that it is, and all this sort of thing? How do you know?
Well, they
Yeah.
they in America they have genetically modified origin food, and they don't tell you that it's necessarily genetically modified.
Yeah,
But
they don't have to tell you as much on the labels, do they? Because all the American
no.
products that they sell in the UK, there's been another label stuck over it to give you more information because they have to publish a lot more nutritional information on our
Well,
stuff.
what I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
about UK and the EU is that they don't normally carry products that have genetically modified origins or are altered in that way genetically.
Oh no,
From
they
what
do now. Yeah,
they
yeah,
do now.
we do. Yeah, and they
Uh,
didn't have. They don't have to tell you. There was a shop that's really popular in the UK called Iceland, and they said they weren't using GMO stuff in their home brands initially, but I don't think even they can promise that now. Apparently, it's impossible to get not genetically modified seeds and vegetables and shit now. It's all just everywhere.
well, it's not impossible. It's just it's expensive, and you have to
It has to
source
be
it.
organic. It would have to be
Yeah,
organic, wouldn't it?
you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to. So
But
like
even
here,
that's becoming a problem now because the GMO seeds cross pollinate.
yeah, well,
So
and
apparently, yeah, they can't even claim that half the stuff is organic now because it's probably cross pollinated with something that's GMO.
and then there was the issue where the wind like blew seeds over into Monsanto crop, and then Monsanto sued the farmer, and he actually countersued and won against Monsanto
Yeah,
because the Monsanto crops had actually contaminated his, and
yeah,
his were from like Baker Creek heirloom seeds and stuff like that, and they were like all genetic non-GMO, and so he was able
yeah.
to prove that it was actually Monsanto destroying his stuff. So yeah, it gets kind of crazy
Mm.
when it comes down to it. But I mean, you can order seeds from like Baker Creek and stuff like that. And I mean, what it comes down to now is we just have to start growing our own food. You know.
Yeah, well, apparently the food supply ain't going to get any better. Stuff's going to keep
Mm-mm.
getting more expensive. It's going to come to a point in
Yeah.
it where, and I
Yeah.
reckon soon they're going to start fucking saying, "Oh, we can't get food." There's going to start to be serious wars, and they're not going to be able to import food and shit like this is going to happen. You know, food shortages. You have to at least be storing dried food for yourself or something, and
We're
prepare for there
gonna
to be a lot of power cuts, so that you can charge stuff and all that when if the power goes out and shit like that. We've got to get prepared for all this.
we're gonna be looking at a very real water shortage here before long as well, as far as fresh
Yeah.
water.
Apparently
So,
in China, it's getting to breaking point as well because all their groundwater is so polluted by the
yep,
industrialization. They
yep.
can't drink fucking half the water that there is in China because it's so fucking polluted. It gives everyone cancer.
99% of all
Yeah,
the world's water supply is actually
yeah.
polluted with what is it? DuPont non-stick
Oh,
from the
pans. Yeah, yeah.
yeah from the non-stick pans is in like
We've all
90.
got microplastics in us, no
Correct.
matter how careful you've been, because you've probably drunk from a building where the water pipes are made of plastic or something, even if you've only ever drank out of glass your whole life or whatever. Yeah,
Exactly, and it's in our
yeah,
DNA now.
yeah,
And so, whenever you look at that, it's probably in anyone's best interest to invest in like an RO, reverse
yeah.
osmosis water system, filtration system, and be able to start ROing your own water to use to grow your own plants with and drink. And that
Mm.
way you can make sure that the plants that you're growing are getting good water that isn't contaminated, so you're not eating contaminated food.
Yeah.
It's crazy, but I mean that's kind of where we are.
Well, I think everything's contaminated. The rain, it must be in the rain, mustn't it? All the fish,
Yeah.
it's in all the fish.
All the chemtrails, it's just raining down on us.
Yeah, well, that's insane, isn't it? That they're getting away. Well, they do admit it, but a lot of people won't believe you, won't believe that it's anything sinister. But it's like they fucking admit it. You can find websites about it. Geoengineering, it's called.
Yeah,
And they
people
admit they're spraying microparticles and it's aluminium and weird shit like that. They're
um,
reflective particles. And it's
they
meant to
also
be slowing down global warming to keep agriculture going so there's not droughts.
they also admit that they're using it to like manipulate the weather patterns and stuff like that.
Yeah, but people don't believe that as well, do they? People, because they're telling us, oh, it's climate change. But people won't have it that they can actually fucking manipulate the weather now. And
Well, I had this discussion with somebody at work the other day, and they weren't really trying to
mm,
hear me, but we're coming
mm,
out of an ice age anyway. And
yeah,
so it's just been continuously getting warmer and warmer. And
mm,
so, I mean, you want to call that climate change, sure, but I mean, it's just been the pattern since
Yeah.
our recorded history.
Well, it's the cycle of the earth. If you had the stuff about a pole shift as well, that's the other scary thing.
Mhm.
There was a guy, I think it was in the 60s, did a report talking about how he's worked out every 7,000 years the Earth is due for a pole shift, and this is why, like the lost city of Atlantis and these places are under the sea now. It's because every 7,000 years the Earth flips, the poles flip, and this causes loads of tidal waves, and after the world gets washed away, and only a few survivors survive, and that obviously. And he reckoned that we're overdue for one, and as soon as he published it, they classified it, right? And fucking they won't talk about it, and they've released it, but it's redacted now. And so, like, the conspiracy theory is basically they know that this is going to happen, it's coming, and this is why Jeff Bezos and that have all gone and built their bunkers in a certain region, because these are the regions least likely to be affected by the pole shift. Because when it happens, only certain areas are going to survive. We're all going to get washed away. It's going to be like an almost extinction event. Only a few people will survive, and it happens every 7,000 years. And they're covering it up because if we all knew it was going to happen, then we wouldn't go to work anymore, obviously, and society would everyone would just go and pursue their dreams and that, wouldn't they? And they can't have us knowing. But yeah, that's the
Well,
conspiracy theory.
along those lines, you're
Mm.
almost getting to the point where we're talking like about the Tartarian Empire.
Yeah, they're
You,
obviously lying to us about history, aren't they? The Egyptians
yeah.
were far more advanced than they tell us, and that there's so much that they're lying to us about. Obviously, had far greater technology than they're telling us they did.
Well, there's more to it than that. I mean,
Yeah,
what we're talking about are forces greater than ourselves, because like the Great Sphinx couldn't have been. We can't put that together now. You look at
yeah,
some of these churches and the chapels and like these great post offices here in the US with these amazingly intricate floors with like
yeah.
marble, and you still can't make this with
This is
the
a
tech.
theory as well. This is actually a
Yeah.
theory. What Stephen said, are we already
Yeah.
in an alternative? There's a theory that when CERN switched on the Hadron Collider, they opened a fucking portal and we've all been ripped into another reality.
Well, yeah, like these structures
Mm.
can't be made by the technology and the
Yeah,
human beings that we have
yeah,
today. So there's no way that they did this in, the 16th century. It's like
yeah,
it's impossible.
yeah,
So we know that we're dealing with forces greater than ourselves here,
yeah,
and something that isn't human. And whether that's
yeah,
God, whether that's aliens, whether that's some other force, human beings didn't put those things together. And so that's where,
yeah.
we're getting into the Tartarian Empire and these alternate
So
true
we
timelines.
had knowledge and they repressed it for some reason. Something happened that made them repress knowledge. There's evidence that these cultures that they tell us were really basic actually had far greater technology than we're told. Don't they?
Absolutely.
Basically, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're for some reason they don't want us to know that. Why I don't fucking know, but for some reason they don't want us to know that. But for some reason we lost access to this technology, didn't we? There was fucking
It's
people from other universes or whatever left us. They
it,
abandoned us for some reason or whatever.
it's about energy. It's about
Yeah,
free energy. It's about you whenever you look at like the Tesla coil and things like
yeah.
that. That energy has been able to be harnessed for centuries, and
Yeah. Well,
that's
they
what's
reckon they
being
used the
hidden.
buildings in the past. They used, the buildings that have got loads of bell shapes on them and that. They reckon they could harness energy through them, and they were powering the buildings and shit
Right?
like that. I'm seeing all this crazy stuff. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah.
records of it, so I can show it to you. Yeah, but it's crazy. There's all sorts of things that they're saying that they've covered up about history, and they're showing now that there's photos appear to have been edited to edit out buildings that are too sophisticated, or cars when there shouldn't be cars and stuff like that.
And we'll get into some more recent examples of things that, we have more direct knowledge of whenever we get into the John Lennon thing and they talk about altering pictures of the Dakota and the service elevator door that has been moved
Yeah,
to be able to alter the visual of what actually happened. And so like we're not making this stuff up, they're doing it in our time and with things that we can easily prove with
yeah.
the information that we have. And so when you
Oh,
start,
there's ones that get me though. The Mandela effect. Let me tell this one, right?
yeah,
Wasn't a Britney Spears fan, right? But you fucking could not escape seeing the video to "Oops, I Did It Again" by Britney Spears, right? Everyone fucking saw it.
I
You remember?
remember that,
Do you remember
unfortunately.
you remember the video? No one wanted to watch it, but whether you fucking wanted to or not, we all saw that video. And there's a bit when she's in a red jumpsuit and she's dancing. Doesn't she have a headset on? Does she have a headset on with a mic headset?
I mean, as far as I can remember, she did,
Yes,
most
I
likely.
remember her
Yeah.
wearing a mic headset. All the dancers had a microphone headset on in that scene. You go and watch the video now, she doesn't have a headset on. There's no headset, and everyone's saying, "Well, fucking, I remember the headset, right?" But no, there is no headset, right? She's there, she's in the red jumpsuit doing the dance. There's no headset.
The one I remember
Yeah,
the
yeah,
most would be like the Berenstein Bears one where,
yeah,
you
and
know,
it's
now,
Stein in it. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and it's like, well,
Yeah,
no,
they
it was
weren't
always
so common
Berenstein.
in the UK,
Yeah.
so I didn't see so many of those books. I do, so it's not.
Yeah,
Oh, and
now
the Wizard
it's
of Oz that got me as well. In the Wizard of Oz, right when the monkeys are jumping out of the window, and she's been making a big speech about go and get Dorothy Gale, right? And as they're jumping out the window, the last thing she says is "Fly, my pretties, fly!" And she does an arm
right.
gesture as well as she's doing it. Right? Do you remember that? Have you
Oh
seen it?
yeah,
You remember
absolutely.
that, right? Fucking watched it again. She doesn't say it. She fucking doesn't say it. And I watched that loads when I was a child, and my parents had it on a VCR for me. I watched it loads. I fucking vividly remember it. She says, "Fly, my pretties, fly," and she's gesturing towards the window as
Um,
she does it. But
do
you watch
you
it now, she fucking doesn't do it.
do
So
you have
have they edited them somehow? Have they gone back and edited the clips?
all you got to do
Yeah.
is edit the master tape and then make new
Yeah,
DVDs
maybe,
of it. But
maybe,
if
yeah, yeah.
you have, but if you have that old VHS,
Yeah.
then you
I
know,
don't know if I even still have the original VHS I had because it was my dad had recorded it off the TV. It wasn't even an official VHS, but
right?
I remember fucking watching that so much. I played it over and over again, and she definitely goes, "Fly, my pretties, fly." It's the last thing she says in that scene, but fucking no, that doesn't happen if you watch it. It's crazy.
Yeah, now we're talking
Yeah,
about the Kennedy assassination. Yeah, you're on the
yeah,
right track there too. Whenever we're
yeah,
talking about things where they kind of alter history and alter physical locations and alter pictures and alter the information to manipulate a narrative.
yeah,
Well, Oswald was, yeah, apparently photographed outside the building when the shots were fired, and he went back inside and then
yeah,
came out, and then in the melee that followed left and was walking and was being followed by Officer JD Tippett. And
yeah,
this is where I wish Capone was here. Yeah, the whole Tippett thing, he was kind of well versed in that. But Lee Harvey Oswald supposedly turned around and shot JD Tippett and went and hid in this movie theater. And he was first arrested for the murder of JD Tippett. And what happened was this officer was shot, and Lee Harvey Oswald went and ran into a movie theater, ran past the clerk, the ticket taker at the front, who didn't see him run in there. And it was a barber across the street who came over and told the person at the booth, like, hey, somebody snuck in. And so they called the police on him for somebody
mm,
sneaking into the theater.
yeah,
Um, and so they came and arrested him, and it had absolutely nothing to do with President Kennedy until they got him back to the police station. And that's when he found out he was being charged with the assassination of the president. And that's when he did the whole, I'm a patsy,
mm.
I didn't do it.
Oh, the Saran thing is the craziest one, though. I've only done a short stream about that, and I didn't really go too deep into that, but that is absolutely insane.
His is
He
definitely
killed Bobby
insane.
Kennedy, or supposedly, but did he really? Was that gun he was firing even fucking firing, or were they blanks in that gun? And his actual guy behind him killed him. It looks like, doesn't
Right.
it?
And
Yeah, yeah,
then James Earl Ray was from Alton, Illinois, and he went over to Missouri and he robbed a Kroger grocery store for like $35. Maybe it was like even a stolen check that he tried to cash, some shit like that. It was really a nothing crime. But he has an IQ of like 65, so he can't pull this heist off, right?
mm,
And so he gets arrested and he gets put into the walls in Jefferson City, which is this big maximum security prison. Breaks out and hides. And the first time he broke out, he got caught. He was like less than a mile away, and he got caught in a cave, and he couldn't make it happen. The second time, he makes it into a laundry truck and gets taken to Chicago, and then goes to Toronto and winds up with a handler, and is on the run for well over a year. And the
mm.
FBI kept tabs on him the whole time. Now, why would the FBI keep tabs this whole time pre-assassination? This two-bit criminal who couldn't pull off the grocery store heist, like
Yeah.
honestly. And
Well,
wound up, they were going to Miami because there was a strike in Miami that Martin Luther King Jr. is going to. But James Earl Ray and his handler wound up going to Memphis and getting a room in the Sporting House overlooking the Lorraine Motel before Martin Luther King Jr. and his crew were on their way to Memphis. And James Earl Ray actually, James Earl Ray wasn't even there. He got spooked. He left in a white Mustang, and they let him get away. In fact, it wasn't even the FBI or anybody in the U.S. that caught him. It was Scotland Yard at Heathrow Airport, because he got all the way to London.
I was going to do a stream just about the amount of autopsies Thomas Noguchi did, because the list is crazy. All the famous people that he autopsied, yeah.
Autopsy
He
to
did
the
RFK,
stars, man. Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, Sharon Tate, who else? Natalie Wood, Janis Joplin, I think, as well. Loads, everyone. Well, he
All
was
of them.
the coroner for LA, wasn't he? And obviously,
He
if they
loved
were
it.
famous, he made sure he was there, didn't he? Yeah, obviously.
He
Because apparently,
loved
with the Manson murders, he only did Sharon Tate's autopsy himself. He just oversaw the rest. So he obviously liked the famous ones, didn't he? Yeah. Liked to be photographed and all that sort of shit, didn't he? And he was photographed a lot. There's photographs of him walking out with Marilyn Monroe's body, doing the bullet evidence at the Robert Kennedy thing, the ballistic, where they're putting poles. Because I was wondering what the fuck they're doing in that photograph. I had no idea, but that's showing ballistics evidence. They're showing the path of the bullets through the holes in the jacket on him. There's this weird picture of him and the firearms expert from the Robert F. Kennedy thing.
Johnny Rogers says the Memphis police detail guarding Martin Luther King was called off like 5 minutes before the shooting. Yeah. And then Reverend Jesse Jackson actually called and had Martin Luther King Jr.'s room changed to the open bay so that supposedly he could get more air and look out over the sky view. But in reality, what it did was provided an open shot.
I thought he had died now. I didn't know he was still
Yeah,
alive. Yeah,
I
I know
don't think
he's
Noguchi's
not a
still
coroner
alive.
anymore. He's sacked from that. I thought he was dead. Might be still alive. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I thought he was dead. And I know he got laid off. He got fired in the end, didn't he? Because he became incompetent. But when he'd been
He
a
was
coroner for
always
20 years.
incompetent, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he was. But you have to keep retraining because they learn new stuff about forensic science all the time, and he wasn't keeping up with the training. Obviously, was he? Yeah. That's the bad thing. How we don't know the truth about a lot of these people's murders. If he was incompetent or their deaths,
Thomas Noguchi is still alive at 98 years old.
He is alive, is he? Oh wow, yeah.
Yes, he is.
Mm.
Sold his soul, man. All that drinking the blood and the baby rape out there in Hollywood kept him alive somehow.
Yeah. Well, was he paid off to say these people's deaths were not what they were or whatever as well, to give corrupted findings, where he was a Hollywood coroner.
Well, everybody wanted to be a star, and he was the star coroner.
Yeah.
He did cover up Marilyn Monroe's death, Stephen, absolutely. And that's not the only death he helped cover up. He was complicit in quite a few of them, as far as I can ascertain.
Well, Natalie Wood as well. What really happened to Natalie Wood? That's disturbing. They reckon she just accidentally fell.
No,
yeah, right.
She
got Whitney Houston as well. There's loads that they don't tell you about Whitney Houston. Like, she was beaten. She didn't just fall asleep in the bath and drown like you believe. She was beaten.
Come on, man.
She had injuries on her. Yeah.
You look at what happened to her daughter too, and you
As
can't tell me that's not some ritual. Yeah, that's not some ritual.
Yeah, and at her funeral, right? At Whitney Houston's funeral, for some reason they had these two massive Egyptian things stuck outside the door of the place where her funeral was.
Yeah, there's some ritual.
Clive Davis had a party underneath while her body was still in the room upstairs. That seems fucking ritualistic as well, doesn't it? It's just
all of it. You betcha.
So disturbing, and the way he treated her as well, the way she was treated is shocking, and enabled, and they just let her, lose it on drugs. No one fucking tried to help her, and it was fucking too late by the time anyone did. Apparently, she damaged her voice beyond repair as well. She had nothing left. She'd fucking completely, because it was her lung capacity. She destroyed her lungs with smoking all the crack.
And the voice is a muscle, and it needs to be exercised and worked correctly.
But it wasn't about that's your larynx. It wasn't about her larynx. It was about her lungs. She didn't have the breath. She couldn't take a deep enough breath to sing. She was an R&B singer. She had to be able to take deep breaths, and she couldn't anymore. She couldn't feel the notes. So yeah, and it was because of lung damage, and there's not much they can do about that except give you a lung transplant. And if you have a lung transplant, you can't be an R&B singer. So no, there's
Uh,
nothing they could do. So he killed her off because she was worth more dead than alive because she couldn't perform anymore.
Acapella says, didn't Noguchi recalculate the number of bullets found in Parent's car for Bugliosi? We don't know about Stephen Parent's car. There's so much right there just in Stephen Parent's car that is a question mark in this whole case of what
Yeah.
is and what isn't, what really happened, So, yeah, probably, most
Yeah.
likely. I mean, everything about Helter Skelter is a lie. We know that it was most likely Linda and Tex at bare minimum who killed Stephen Parent. I mean, I can guess.
Bugliosi even hints that he knew that as well if you read Helter Skelter. When I did the original Linda Kasabian stream, I read out the weird bit in Helter Skelter where he says he doesn't understand how Tex could have been holding, stabbing and shooting at the same time, but somehow he did.
Right.
Yeah, they obviously, yeah, saying.
Right.
Because they had to cover up that Linda was actually involved in the murders to make her look so saintly, didn't they? Yeah, yeah. And there's that statement from a lawyer saying it was scary what she told him, and he can't say what she told him, but it was scary. And he said, "I knew she was guilty of murder before and after the fact."
Didn't Noguchi mention something about a magic bullet in Parent's murder?
Mm.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, that's the thing, because there was only 4 bullets in him, but they tried to say one was found in the car somewhere as well, didn't they? So one had missed him. But yeah, but there was 4 bullets in him, I think, wasn't there, in Stephen Parent? But they tried to say there was a 5th one somewhere in the car that they found.
Sam Smith says he heard the Brian Jonestown massacre is going on tour again. Hey, Sam, that'll be until Anton goes nuts and they all get into a big old fight and start beating the shit out of each other on stage again. Yeah, that's right.
People have a go at me when I mention this, but
Yep.
fucking yeah, no. Honestly, you read her autopsy report, it is weird. He does not mention she was pregnant at all. It's fucking bizarre.
Well, I think because
Yeah.
that's just more work, and you actually at that point you have an 8.5-month-old fully formed human
Yeah.
body. That's another full autopsy. So
Yeah,
if you
so there
don't
must have been
mention
another
it,
thought. But why was there
Yeah.
no mention of them having to see a C-section? Because that's what they would have to have done. They would have to have done a C-section. Otherwise, something called a coffin birth happens. You don't really know what that is, right? But yeah, they don't just leave the baby inside the mother when the mother and baby die like that. They have to
what
take
if
the baby out.
what if the baby was gone when they found her?
Well, she wasn't. We can see the crime scene photos. Her stomach
I
wasn't
know.
cut open. That ain't
I
true, is
know.
it? No,
I
no.
know. I know.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
Still, I had
Yeah,
to throw it out there, man.
yeah, yeah,
What if?
yeah,
Because crazy Sadie.
yeah.
I wonder if
All of
Roman.
them, even if they were creepy freaks, they didn't deserve to drive the way they did as well. Even the ones that were horrible.
No one deserves that.
Mikowski, no one deserves it, do they? Yeah, it's horrible for all of them. But yeah, particularly sad for poor Sharon because she was trying to get out of it. She didn't like it. She was just too submissive. She wouldn't tell Roman no. She just fucking did everything he told her to do, didn't he? Didn't she, poor cow?
She came from a time where that was more normal, and it was
Yeah,
also coming from a time where, you know, I don't know,
yeah,
man, why these men weren't more accountable and weren't more protective, but that's a different discussion.
yeah.
I believe one of Parent's bullets was found lodged in the passenger car door. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just all fucking so weird. Like I say, that is weird. There's nothing in the autopsy report that says it's a pregnant woman that he's looking at because there's a point when he describes the body, he has to describe her whole body and he just says she's well developed. And that's it. He doesn't say, but you would say, and she is in the whatever trimester of pregnant, you would say, wouldn't you? But he doesn't say that at all. Maybe he was looking at her after she'd had the baby removed, but then why doesn't he mention the C-section mark? Or, there's nothing. He doesn't mention it at all. It's so weird. Yeah.
Look, Mill, if Parent was shot, what, 4 times, and then there was one in the door, and there was Jay Sebring shot. How many times was Jay Sebring shot?
There was one bullet in him, and there was another bullet found that hadn't fully penetrated him. It fell out when they took his shirt off. So he was sort of shot in the back, but the bullet didn't really penetrate. But he had been shot in the front as well once.
Okay, so there's 7
So
bullets.
twice. Yeah, yeah.
Frico wasn't shot, was he?
No, he was
He
just
was
beat with
beat
the
with
gun.
a gun.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah, yeah.
beat with a gun and stabbed.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, you're right then. It held 9 shots, so I mean, if it was full, you can walk
Yeah.
away within that scenario with
I
still
know
two.
people say he damaged the gun when he beat Frykowski over the head with it, so he
Yeah,
didn't fire anymore. He couldn't fire it anymore. Yeah. The
broke
grips came
the
off, didn't
grip.
they? But the fucking copper who took the gun, took the bullets out immediately with no gloves on, didn't he? And all that, so he ruined any evidence of the gun.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah,
Stephen Weiss, the
yeah,
young kid that found
yeah.
it. Yeah, he was real.
Even the little kid knew to carefully carry it by the barrel and not get fingerprints on it. But apparently, as soon as the cop arrived, he just grabbed it and opened it and pulled the bullets out,
Yep.
destroying any evidence, fingerprint evidence, or anything on the bullets. And yeah.
Well, again, you know,
Right, they didn't
LAPD.
want to solve this case. They wanted to destroy the
Yeah,
evidence. It's like they
yeah,
were trying to destroy all the evidence, wasn't it?
yeah. LAPD were just 100%
Yeah,
not trying to
yeah,
do what they could to preserve any evidence and
yeah.
investigate the case.
Yeah,
Like
well, if it weren't for Susan and Kitty Lotzinger and Stephanie Schramm talking, then they probably would have got away with it. That's the terrifying thing.
again,
Yeah, yeah,
I don't even know if all that because I mean Brooks Poston and Little
yeah,
Paul and had already talked as well. It was
mm,
really Sadie in
mm,
jail talking to Virginia Graham and Ronnie Howard is what really broke it wide open.
yeah.
But um, I think by that time hadn't Tex Watson already been in contact with his attorney down in Texas as well?
Mm.
I want to say that those were recorded in late November. Um, well, acapella in the movie, the little kid said that he learned it from watching Dragnet. You know,
Hmm.
that was an attempt to make Dragnet cool,
Hmm.
which I actually like watching it now. But it's kind of campy. It's funny, especially when they have like hippies. Oh yeah, it's funny. Did anybody get any of that reward money?
Didn't Virginia Graham or Ronnie Howard get reward money? I thought they did,
Mm,
didn't they?
mm.
I think Ronnie Howard took the money, didn't she? And didn't Virginia Graham? I think they got money, didn't they?
Look, man, we don't know that Susan never mentioned Linda to either Howard or Graham. All we know is what Bugliosi
Huh.
wanted us to know about what Susan told Howard or Graham.
Yeah.
Uh, no reaction. The whole Doyling thing being a product of Dennis Hopper's drug-addled.
Dennis Hopper didn't say he was raped.
Yeah, it
Well,
wasn't, and it
Dennis
was.
Hopper said he was whipped. It doesn't come from Dennis Hopper. It comes
Yeah,
from Ed Sanders originally that he was raped,
yeah. There's a
and
lot of
then
people that attest to
and then
that.
later Chaos, right? That he was raped. Dennis Hopper didn't say he was raped. Dennis Hopper said he was whipped.
Oh yeah, the episode with the hippie takes
Hmm.
LSD and paints his face 2 different colors. I
Hmm.
like the one where they started a hippie cult and
Hmm.
they were trying to take over the world.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a good one. And then of course the one where the parents who smoke weed and forget about their kid in the bathtub and he died and they're all stoned and like, where's Johnny?
Well,
Where's
there's
Johnny?
LSD scare movies as well. I was thinking of trying to find
Yeah.
some of them. Maybe we could react to some of the LSD scare movies.
Yeah, the
Apparently,
propaganda is great.
Diane Linkletter's dad made one. Be interesting
Nice.
to find that and watch it, wouldn't it? Yeah. Like the drug panic movies about LSD.
James Watson says, "Oh, all this gun barrel talk, and I thought we were talking about Donkey Dick Danny DiCarlo.
Hmm. Oh, he's not dead as well. Yeah, he didn't done die. He's
Died,
alive.
Donkey
Yeah.
Dick Dan,
Danny
still
DiCarlo not done dead.
alive."
He's alive. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Someone told me, yeah, he's not dead. They've confirmed he is alive. God knows how. Wonder if he's watching.
Danny, if you're
Yeah,
watching, we
yeah,
would
yeah,
love to have you come on an after show.
yeah. Let's interview you, please. Anyway,
Good time.
I do wonder if any of them ever watch. It would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Oh,
If they reveal themselves in the chat.
it's like two
Oh, I get
degrees of
crazy comments
separation there.
sometimes, right? Someone commented I did a stream years ago about the Spahn Ranch raid, and someone commented, "That's my mum's name in this document. Where can I find it?" And I'm like,
Oh
"What?
my
Oh my
God.
God, whose child are you?" Sort of, you can't ask him, can you? But yeah, but they'd
Right.
already found it anyway. But I explained how they can find the Spahn Ranch raid report.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Luckmill says, according to both Howard and Graham, Susan never mentioned Kasabian. Well,
Yeah.
Susan probably over-exaggerated her own importance too, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah, California cheeseburgers are fire.
And we don't know what they really said initially when they were interviewed by the police. It's not been fucking released to us, really, has it? Well,
No.
what's been released to us? A lot of what Susan was saying, she was saying to authors and
Yeah,
journalists that were interviewing her and lawyers. She wasn't like,
it's
these aren't
all
police interviews. Mad rambling, yeah.
it's all based off of her grand jury testimony, which is
Yeah,
basically the Lawrence Schiller article. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that's where the basis of Helter Skelter forms, and that's the story that we're given. But we don't know what Tex told his attorneys in late November of
Nothing
'69.
about what Krenwinkel said to the police at all.
Nothing about what Linda
No
told
idea.
Gary Fleischman at all. Gary Fleischman has given us some clues about what she said and what he
Yeah.
knows, and it's not what we've been told. You
Yeah,
know?
that's it. They had to stick to the script, yeah. It's crazy.
I talked to her, and the only conversation I can tell you is I said, keep your mouth shut and keep it shut in that jail. Don't talk to anybody about this ever. I can't describe what she told me, but it was scary. The whole thing was scary.
At that time, Linda Kasabian had few options because Susan Atkins had already turned state's witness. According to Gary Fleischman, he had Kasabian sabotage Susan Atkins' testimony while they were both in custody to bolster her bargaining position with the prosecutors.
I had Linda pass kites to her in the jail. A kite is a little letter saying, in Charlie talk being, the DA is your lawyer, Charlie is the DA, nonsense like that. And this Atkins was a little nuts, and she then refused to testify. So now they were left with Linda. Period. And then negotiations started. First they offered me murder in the second degree. I said no. Then they offered me voluntary manslaughter. I said no. She was technically guilty of first degree murder as an accessory before and after the fact. So we typed up an immunity agreement. And the immunity agreement said Linda Kasabian will receive immunity if she testifies to the truth in the so-called Manson murders. The truth is as follows. I knew exactly what was necessary to convict him. And whether that was the truth or not wasn't my business to decide. That was Vince's business. I said, Linda, if you testify to that, you're going to walk out of that courtroom. We filed a very detailed motion to get the case out of LA County. It had like 100 newspaper clippings. And I claimed that the bad publicity was instigated by the prosecutors. And that's enough to get the case dismissed, at least on appeal. But when we went to make a deal, we withdrew the motion.
You should have seen my face when I was sitting in the courtroom and Linda came up with a demure little gold cross that she was fingering and got up on the stand and said, I'm just an angel sent here from heaven to tell the world that Charlie's the devil, not Jesus Christ.
This is why I start to explain to people as well, why do they lie then? If it's true, why are there so many interviews of Susan Atkins and everyone sitting there saying it? Why do they lie? It's because they have to, because that's what they're convicted of. To get probation, they have to show, or parole or whatever, parole. They have to show remorse for whatever they was convicted of. So they've got to pretend that it's fucking real, what they were.
Lookmill's on it right there, man. Susan's Inyo County Police Department interview, or Inyo County Sheriff's Department, Sheriff's Office interviews never been released. None of their Inyo County interviews have been released, and that is probably the prime. That in Texas interview from that same time period, that late November, early December, pre grand jury testimony, pre Helter Skelter accounts of what was really happening. Mark Oliver, I missed it by that much.
Yeah, but we only hear what they start saying after the Helter Skelter thing's been introduced. And Tex could have got it out of newspapers. It was all published when Susan Atkins, they published the extracts from Susan Atkins' books and that. He was getting newspapers and magazines in prison.
Right.
He could have read what got published. You know, Tex and his lawyers, through his lawyers, he could have heard the Helter Skelter thing, you know, been told what he had to say. They all were trained to say this Helter Skelter thing and not reveal whatever the fucking truth is, yeah.
They were all coached.
Coached, very, very coached, yeah.
Because it's all the same story and it's all the same.
Because most of them never testified. Susan testified at the grand jury, but none of the girls testified. Krenwinkel never testified. They only speak at the penalty phase, and that's not testimony. That's after they've been convicted. That's
Right.
meant to be pleading for their lives, pleading for them not to get the death penalty. That's the only time you actually heard from the girls. In the trial, you know, in court, they didn't testify. They weren't cross-examined and asked or anything. You know, they didn't. It's ridiculous. You know.
And look, Mill, the Tex Watson tapes are loaded with revealing info, but I mean, what do we have from those? The ones that were released, were those the real ones? I don't know. Were they unedited?
Nothing's been released, but there was tapes that were sold to Pastor Ray because you can find a lawsuit about it, right? The tapes, the guy who wrote "Will You Die for Me," the Tex tapes were sold to him. But we all speculate they recorded something new for that guy, and that he never really had the real Tex tapes. But there's court documents saying that Pastor Ray had access to whatever the Tex tapes are, and that's how he wrote "Will You Die for Me," from interviewing Tex and hearing the Tex tapes. But I don't believe he had the real Tex tapes. I think they recorded something new for him.
Well, they had the late '69, the late November '69 tapes, and then there's
the ones from his lawyers in Texas as well. That's what I want to fucking what was he saying to the guys in Texas?
But see, that's
he
just
cut off when he came to California. He sacked them, didn't he? They showed up. There's newspaper footage of them refusing to see him. No, he refused to see them. He refused to see them. There's footage of them stood outside the court looking perplexed. And they're saying to them, if you don't go away, we're going to have you arrested. He doesn't want to see you. And they're standing there going, what? There's news footage of them being interviewed. He fired these two lawyers that he had in Texas.
Well, I do know that he had them in late November.
And he gets this Burbrick dude,
and they made the initial recordings, but then he was still in Texas and fought extradition for quite some time. So they could have made any number of recordings to take the place of those original tapes to suit the purposes of Bugliosi to get any kind of leniency or whatever it was that they were doing. Yeah, look, Mel, that's right. Why won't they? That's a great question. Why won't they simply release the text tapes? There's no pertinent info on them.
Yeah, well, they say the reason they give is he talks about crimes that are still open. And all the Manson murders are solved. That's case closed. The trial's over and everything, right? So it's not stuff about the Manson murders. It's other crimes.
Right.
So what the fuck could that mean? What other shit he was involved in? Because I know a lot of them got questioned about the Zodiac crimes. Was he being questioned about other murders that he might have committed, and that's why we're not allowed to hear it. That's what they tell us in it.
And when we talk about MK Ultra, I firmly believe that we're looking at Tex, if that's the angle. And you look at other crimes that he was involved in that are outside of the scope of what we generally consider and accept to be "quote unquote" Manson family crimes. Yeah. Right.
But all this time he was living off with Rosina. What was going on? What was he doing? What was he up to? Who was he with? He was at Dennis Wilson's house before Charles Manson arrived.
They were pimping.
What was he doing at Dennis Wilson's house then?
Yeah, making porno, gay porn, and pimping underage people. And
he saw all sorts, didn't he?
What was he doing? I mean, in the wig shop, and did he and Rosemary LaBianca know each other outside of all of this? Well,
this is it, isn't it? And did he know Joe Dorgan? We can't prove that. There is no proof of that, is there? But if he knew Joe Dorgan, that's compelling as well, isn't it? Yeah.
All of it.
Yeah. People need to ask more questions about Tex because he's still alive. I doubt he'll ever do. And I honestly think that the doctors were fucking right when they said he fried his brain with drugs. So there probably really are gaps in his memory. But he seemed to remember enough to write "Will You Die for Me" in that, doesn't he? So fucking, I think he has enough memory.
They fried his brain.
Yeah, maybe they did fucking, and now he can't remember fuck all except what he's been programmed to say. But who knows?
Right.
Yeah, I've heard LAPD have got them. That's what happened to them in the end, isn't it? Because I found there was a lawsuit where Tex tried to get them back because they're his property. Because when Burbrick died, when the lawyer died, his secretary had possession of them, and then she handed them over to LAPD, and he asked for them back because they're his property, and they said no, basically. And he said, "I don't mind you listening to them. You can listen to them, but can I have them back because they're my property? Might need to sell them for my legal costs or whatever." And they said no, basically, so they won't give him them back. And in that lawsuit, it's mentioned that they said, well, you can't be that sensitive about it because you sold them to Pastor Ray for $2,000. So so it's documented there.
Well, but the thing is that if he sold them to Pastor Ray and they're back on the market, then they should go back to Tex, really, right?
Yeah.
Or he should be able to buy them back for the same $2,000 they gave. I don't know. Then that's kind of messed up, and
Well, surely he's got other copies that are with his ex-wife or whatever. You know what I mean? They can't have been the only copies of them. Surely that what his lawyer had. There must be other copies of them somewhere. Or Pastor Ray, what happened to Pastor Ray? Because Pastor Ray was corrupt as hell. If you look into him, he was selling off stuff. I'm surprised Pastor Ray never leaked them, the tapes he was given. Maybe he had to sign a load of NDAs or whatever, so he's not allowed to leak them. But I'm surprised Pastor Ray never leaked the tapes he was sold. Just recovering now from it. Just about.
Antibiotics are never fun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I think. I don't think Pastor Ray got the real tapes. I think they probably fucking manufactured something for him. Because there's a lot of bullshit in Will You Die For Me, and if that's what he based Will You Die For Me off, was these tapes, I think that him and his lawyer sat down and recorded something new for Pastor Ray and told him it was the text tapes, yeah. Yeah, I'll have to end this soon, it's late, isn't it?
Yeah, we're getting towards the end of it. No, I mean, it's a good stopping point, but I mean, that's kind of another thing that we can wind up looking at here is these tapes and what was the genesis of where this story changed.
Yeah.
They did a song about Sister Pastor Ray, Pastor Sister Ray.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, those tapes would be a great listen. I would be super, just like any of us would be super interested to hear it. Yeah, and
I
why?
would love to hear what Tex really knows, what the fucking truth is, what Tex really remembers, and what was he doing all the rest of the time as well, because I don't believe he told the whole truth in Will You Die For Me. Because I never read all of Will You Die For Me because I rage quit it as I started reading it, so that's just such bollocks.
It's trash.
But actually, he does tell some stuff. He talks about his relationship with Rosina and stuff like that. He does give you some information, but not. He never mentions, fucking drug dealing. He says, oh, everyone else was drug dealing. He says Rosina was drug dealing. He doesn't ever say that he was involved in it and all that sort of shit.
A couple of good comments before we sign off, too. James Watson says maybe Tex talked about doing other murders, but they didn't show being under the influence of Manson and or this brainwashing.
Yeah.
Great comment.
It would have ruined the narrative that he was a robotic servant of Manson. He was just a good high school fucking high achiever until he met Manson or whatever, yeah.
And then acapella with why did Zakaria freak out on the phone when Tom O'Neill tried to get a California Public Records Act request to get the text tape? Why did Zakaria, who had been in regular contact with Tom for the past 6 years, never speak to him again after that phone call?
Yeah. That's weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
So does Queero, or however you pronounce it, does he know what's on the text tapes then? Because has anyone fucking heard them? Presumably, only not many people have heard them. Only the police and Texas lawyer know.
Well, they'd faithfully, like acapella says here, they'd faithfully attended the parole hearings for 8 years, and then they missed the hearing at which he could have been held to answer questions about the tapes on the record for the first time. Why?
Yeah.
Like it all just looks so fishy. And as usual, every time we do one of these, we just bring up more questions and we find answers.
That's it. Well, Krenwinkel and Tex are the only two alive now, aren't they? That really know what happened at CLA Drive, that were there.
And they'll never.
And they need to be allowed to talk though, because how can they? Because of the case of what they're convicted of,
But as long as they're
But
in
I reckon
jail,
Krenwinkel needs a new trial. That's what fucking needs to happen.
yeah,
And then
yeah,
where she's allowed to tell what really happened, basically, yeah. And that
be-
it is all brought up, the trafficking aspect, and that is brought up, and
because as
that sort
long
of
as
thing, yeah.
they're in jail, as long as they're still in jail, they're never going to tell the truth because they know the parole board wants to hear what they
Yeah,
want
yeah.
to hear. They want to
They've
hear
got to
the
show
reduced
remorse for
part,
what they were
right?
convicted of. That's what
Right, when
they've
it
got. Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
what happened, so they have to
Yeah, yeah. So
apologize
how
for
can,
what
yeah.
didn't really happen, so they
Yeah,
can't tell
yeah,
the
yeah.
truth, and that's why they're
Yeah.
never going to get the fuck out of jail.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but how can they tell the truth? Because they can only respond to what the parole board's saying to them. And the
Mhm.
parole board can only judge on what they were convicted of as well. You know, like they
That's
can't
exactly
judge on,
right. They can't take
they
any of
can't
this other
watch
shit
my
into
channel and
account.
go, oh my God, what was there? Save a brother and drug burn and yeah, yeah.
Not allowed to.
Yeah,
Wouldn't
they're
be
not
doing their
allowed. They
job.
can they can only look at what they were
The
convicted of
evidence,
as
what they're
they're judging.
presented.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Facts.
And that's the ridiculous thing. But the only way to do it was they would have to find evidence that her first trial was off, but Bobby got a new trial on that basis, and Leslie got 2 new trials on that basis, right? And this fucking her trial was, they could say her mental health should have been taken into account more or something. There's got to be some reason they can come up with to fucking give Krenwinkel a new trial, because the trial was a farce for all of them, wasn't it?
Oh
No
yeah.
matter how you feel, it wasn't a fair trial for any of them. That's it, the Datura stuff as well. Because also he probably really does have gaps in his memory. There are probably things he really can't remember as well. That's not all total bullshit. But he must know. I can't believe he doesn't remember the night it happened as well and the actual act of doing it. And he seemed to be able to describe it to psychiatrists in his psychiatry report and that. So he seemed to have memory of doing it. He doesn't get asked a lot about the Labiancas in the psychiatric report as well. And he gets emotional when he's asked about the Labiancas as well, apparently. But he doesn't say very much about the Labiancas at all. He's only asked about Cielo Drive. Right,
Yeah, so but that's the thing about it too, is that in late November '69 he gave this account to his attorney in Texas, and then he had that long extradition period where he fought extradition, and then when he got to California he had this like total dissociative psychotic break, and so that's where those gaps probably appeared, is during that psychotic break, and he was told what
yeah,
happened. And so he's filled in the
yeah,
blank
yeah,
with what he's been told. And he's like, oh,
yeah,
wow, that's what happened, and blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
And
yeah,
so whenever you're on all those drugs and he did all
yeah,
the Datura and all that, and he was under the influence that very night,
yeah.
so he might remember certain things one way,
Apparently,
but
there is a parole hearing. I've got to find it. But it was one of his recent parole hearings. He actually says, "I could never really remember what happened." He
right.
says, "I could never really fully remember what happened." He actually says that at a parole
Well,
hearing. Yeah,
there's
yeah,
probably some real
yeah,
dissonance up in there between what really happened and the holes that he has in
yeah.
his story, and then what he was told
What he was
happened.
told to say by his lawyers. Yeah, blame it all on Charlie.
Right.
Because I've never seen the fucking the source for this, but I've heard that when Tex was told they were going to go down as the Manson murders, he laughed and said, "No way. They should
Well,
be the Tex Watson murders," is what everyone says. They should be.
and
Yeah, no, it was,
and to what end did it accomplish anything by blaming Charles Manson for this? Because it's not like any of them got any lesser of a
yeah.
sentence or anything out of
But
it.
it
They
was
all got the fucking death sentence.
to cement this myth. It was a cult. They were a cult, and they were just
Right.
monsters, and they all went crazy on drugs, and they didn't want it to connect it to drug dealing, and sex trafficking, and weird
But
porn, and
to a
yeah,
person is
yeah.
what I'm saying. To a person, like if it was me who had gotten caught
Mm,
up in this and I'm on
yeah,
trial and they're
yeah,
like, "Well, you need to blame it all on Charlie." I'm like, "Well, fuck, that ain't gonna get me out of anything."
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
it didn't. Like they all
But they
wound
were
up with the
also
death
young and
penalty.
stupid and
They
drugged
were
and
also
not fucking
young and
sane, vulnerable,
easily manipulated.
easily manipulated. Yeah, so that's the thing. They got passed from Manson to manipulative DAs, and they were
Yeah.
so manipulated their whole
They're like,
lives.
"Yeah, we need you to pin it all on Charlie," and then turn around. It's like, "Aha, y'all get the death penalty anyway. Didn't fucking
Yeah,
do
but
anything for it."
then the death penalty it got overturned, didn't it? There was a weird
Yeah.
period where the death penalty got
Well,
cancelled
no,
in California.
California, yeah, abolished the
Yeah,
death
yeah.
penalty in
But then it came back,
1972.
didn't it? But it can't
Yep,
be retroactively applied to them again. Yeah.
can't be, no.
Hmm.
But like Richard Ramirez wound up getting it, like 85.
Yeah.
Like, there were people that earned it. There's a reason why they had to bring it back in California.
Yeah.
It's a wild place.
Yeah.
Yeah, Watson wasn't seen as a kid, or excuse me, Manson wasn't seen as a kid. He was a perfect scapegoat. And he was older and he had a history of felonious
Yeah,
convictions and charges. He was already a con. And so that's why he was the perfect scapegoat, you
yeah.
know.
Well, so they didn't want it going back to Hollywood as well. They didn't want the Hollywood connections coming out, did they? Even though the
Oh
Gossip
yeah.
were publishing it back then, it wasn't really truly covered up, but they
Yeah.
had to have it not said in court and not in court, didn't they? That it was
Yeah.
all.
And if Watson was the MK Ultra subject of it, you know, once he fell into hanging out with Charlie and the whole kid trafficking and all that shit, and making the sex tapes and all that,
Mm,
dealing drugs. Well, I'm sure the MK Ultra handlers thought that this was the perfect score, and so when
yeah,
everything went down, they were like, "Well, he's the perfect patsy."
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, the date Tom O'Neill gave for the text tapes was on or around 11/29/69. According to my notes, being anal retentive, I probably copy and pasted that date. LOL. Yeah, it was Thanksgiving weekend, and actually the Rolling Stones played Madison Square Garden that weekend on the Let It Bleed tour, and
Yeah,
Jimi Hendrix was backstage. It was Jimi Hendrix's birthday, and he was backstage hanging out with him. There's footage of that. Same day, same weekend. Yep. But you're right. That's when it was.
yeah. Go in this now anyway. I'm tired and the earphones are hurting my head.
Let's
yeah,
do it. You guys be safe.
yeah,
Have a
yeah. Have
great
a good week.
week.
Like I said, I've got lots of good streams planned. I've got like 12 weeks of streams planned. We will get around to doing the Hendrix one as well and all this, and the John Lennon one, and
Got a
even
bunch
Kurt
of
Cobain. I'm finding interesting stuff about Kurt Cobain's death and that. Yeah,
absolutely. There's
yeah.
new information on that.
So much
Dude.
to
Yep.
cover. Yeah, but yeah.
All
Good night,
right.
everyone, and cheers for coming. And I'll see you next week. Good
Bye.
night.